Sokoto declaration. My people, come listen to this particular video. My people, you need to watch from beginning to end. May you understand the direction Nigeria may be in the next few months from now. Watch the video before we come back and continue.
We come from different worlds. One of us, Nnamdi Kanu, was born in Biafra as a Biafran and now sits in a prison cell built to silence him. The other, Mike Arnold, was born in the United States of America, where this declaration is being delivered, and has crisscrossed the ocean 16 times because what he saw here would not let him leave. We do not walk the same road, yet we have arrived at the same conviction. Today we speak as one to every person of conscience on this land, every tribe, every region, every faith. We share one enemy and one future. When darkness covers a people, when truth tellers are jailed, when a government's full-time work is hiding mass graves, that is the hour when boldly speaking truth can topple tyrants and set the people free. That hour is now. It is time to rise. The hour demands it. The scale of suffering is staggering. Hundreds of thousands killed in recent decades alone. Millions displaced from their ancestral homes. The darkness has many faces. The historical legacy of jihadist conquest, Boko Haram, ISIS affiliates, armed Fulani militias, lobbyists in Washington, and tyrants in Aso Rock who enrich themselves while denying the dead. By 1900, the Sokoto Caliphate was among the largest slave societies in modern history. The genocidal Biafran-Nigerian War claimed some 3.6 million lives, according to official estimates, with Irish missionaries putting the figure closer to 5 million, many through starvation. Since 2009, credible reports document more than 180,000 deaths, more than 19,000 churches burned or destroyed, and the displacement of as many as 10 to 12 million people from their ancestral homes. Children grow up in squalid camps the regime denies exist, surrounded by the ideology that murdered their parents. This is not farmer-herder conflict, not climate change, not a misunderstanding. This is conquest, one of the longest patterns of targeted violence and displacement in modern history. It ends now. The violence is not inevitable. It is the result of choices that can be confronted and reversed by the sovereign will of the people. We hold these truths. Every human being on this land, every tribe, every tongue, every faith, is made in the image of God and possesses inherent dignity and the right to life, liberty, and self-determination. Every person has the right to live in peace in the home of their fathers. The displaced must return home. Their safe return and full restoration come before all other national work. Until they are home safe, with justice and restitution, nothing else is finished. We acknowledge without hesitation or qualification the pain, suffering, and injustice endured by the oppressed of every tribe, every ethnic group, and every region across this land. No community holds a monopoly on grief. From north to south, east to west, millions have borne the weight of violence, corruption, neglect, and broken promises. Their blood, their tears, and their stolen futures cry out for justice, just the same. They too are entitled to freedom, dignity, and security, no less than any Biafran, no less than any Nigerian. We do not seek liberty for our one people alone, but for all who suffer under injustice. The society we demand is one rooted in freedom, equity, justice, fairness, and the uncompromising supremacy of the rule of law. These ideals are not optional. They are irreducible, non-negotiable, and the minimum standard we demand from those who govern and from ourselves. A government is legitimate only with the consent of the governed. When it arms killers, bulldozes camps of displaced citizens, and pays foreign press agents to deny mass graves, it has lost the right to govern. Self-determination is not a crime. It is a fundamental, inalienable right enshrined in the supreme law of the land and in binding international instruments solemnly ratified by Nigeria herself. Nigeria's constitution, the apex legal instrument of the Federal Republic, declares in unambiguous terms that sovereignty and power belong to the people, not to any cabal that looted and rigged its way to Abuja. Beneath the Constitution sits the African Charter on Human and People's Rights, which occupies the second highest position in the hierarchy of Nigerian law. What makes this even more damning is an innocuous but explosive provision in Nigeria's own Terrorism Prevention and Prohibition Act 2022. Section 2, subsection 3F expressly provides that any act which constitutes a breach of the African Charter on Human and People's Rights is, by that very fact, an act of terrorism under Nigerian law. Let the world hear this clearly. Article 20 of the African Charter guarantees the right of self-determination, and the continued systematic violation of this right against Biafrans and all other Nigerians, including the persecution and imprisonment of Nnamdi Kanu, places the Nigerian state in direct, self-inflicted violation of its own anti-terrorism legislation. The regime that accuses others of terrorism is itself culpable of inflicting terrorist acts upon a people peacefully demanding their God-given and constitutionally protected rights. A free vote is not violence. Speaking truth is not terrorism. It is the denial of these rights that constitutes the real terrorism. No ideology that demands death for words, death for faith, or death for tribe has any claim on the future of this land or any other. The wealth under this ground belongs to the people who live on it. Every barrel taken under cover of massacre is theft. Every kilogram of ore dug from under the homes of the displaced is soaked in innocent blood. Every dollar that flows to foreign accounts while children starve is theft. No one is coming to save us. No outside power will hand us our freedom. No foreign capital will grant us our wishes. Waiting for rescue is colonial thinking, a habit of the chained mind. The world may help. It may not. We do not wait. Power is never given. It is built. It is taken. The cost. Freedom is not free. It never has been. It will not be now. Those who broke the chains of apartheid did not do it by waiting. Those who faced dogs and hoses in Birmingham did not do it by hoping. Those who walked to the sea at Dundee did not do it by asking permission. They counted the cost. Many paid it. The world changed. Now is the hour for this land. How we fight determines what we build. We do not call for violence or vengeance. We do not call for chaos. We reject the methods of those we oppose, because no true freedom has ever been won with unjust hands. But we are not pacifists. Every people has the God-given right to defend its life, protect its families, and secure its communities, with overwhelming lethal force if the moment demands it. We affirm that right without apology and without condition. Peace is not passivity. Peace is strength under restraint. We reject not force, but unjust aggression. We refuse revenge that poisons every cause it enters. There's a wide line between defending the living and becoming what we oppose. Know that line. Walk it. Hold it. We call for courage to name evil in your village, your church, your house, your government, in your own thoughts when fear whispers that silence is safer. We call for real unity. Every soul of conscience on this land suffers under the same darkness. Do not let it continue to divide us. Stand together or fall apart alone. To our Biafran brothers and sisters, public infighting must end. Every perceived division among you is a gift to the darkness. Every faction fighting another faction is doing the enemy's work for him. You were never each other's enemies. The cause is too great, the cost too high, the hour too late. Unite under one sense of purpose, or risk surrendering the future you seek to build. We call for courageous, coordinated, disciplined, and unrelenting resistance, peaceful where possible, defensive where necessary, in the streets, at the ballot box, in every international forum, in every courtroom that will hear the evidence, in every church and mosque silent too long, online and on the ground. Darkness rules by your silence, and fear. Withdraw both. We call for the transformation of governance in this land. The people must assert their sovereign will through coordinated, disciplined, and unrelenting pressure. Change must come via the peaceful but unstoppable force of a unified people, supported by moral clarity and, where possible, international oversight. Through legal and democratic action, through an internationally supervised process for a new constitutional framework and genuine self-determination, through the kind of moral force that has stopped tyrants before and will topple them again. We call on the world, every government, every faith, every human rights body, every person of conscience, to stand with the people of this land, not with the evil regime, with its people. Understand, we will not wait for you, and we will remember. Stand with us today, or watch us rise without you. To those who hold power, history is watching, and it is not kind to those who choose the wrong side of it. Pharaohs do not win in the end. They never have. You know this. Behind the lobbyists and the propaganda and the billions stolen from the ground while your own people starve, you know this. To those in authority, history shows that no regime built on fear, division, and plunder endures forever. The path of repentance and reform remains open. Choose justice over power, accountability over impunity, and the healing of this land over its continued bleeding. This regime once put on the record, starvation is a legitimate weapon of war, and we have every intention of using it. Only the methods have changed. The blockade became burned villages. Bombs became bulldozers. The darkness continues. In Europe, the right side ended the Holocaust, wrote the history books, and the world was forced to reckon. Here, the wrong side won, and the world has never reckoned with the millions murdered. That reckoning starts now. The question is not whether this land will be free. It will be free. The only question is, what will it cost and who will answer for what was done? What freedom looks like. Wherever the people of this land have been free, they rise in medicine, law, engineering, finance, the arts. Among the most educated and entrepreneurial people on earth, they do not merely survive, they excel. But it is not happening here because the darkness won't let them. Break it and watch what happens. The North, liberated from the grip of terror, its people free at last to build rather than conquer. The Middle Belt, healed, its dead remembered, its living come home, its farms restored, its churches rebuilt. The South, rising, its resources belonging at last to those who live on the ground. A new constitutional order, written by the people, through genuine consent, that respects self-determination while enabling cooperation. When this land is free, the people will not merely survive. They will lead. The benevolent giant of Africa, a multi-ethnic democracy rooted in peace, righteousness, and human dignity, putting $1 trillion of God-given wealth to work for its people and for the world. No longer a burden or a threat, a partner, a beacon to every people still waiting for their own long night to end. The free world needs this land free. The land needs the free world to finally show up, not for oil, not for minerals, but for its people. This is not a dream. It is what these people already are, everywhere they are free. Let us finally bring that freedom home. To the people, gird yourselves. The road is not short. It is not easy. Count the cost and be willing to pay it anyway. The cost of surrender is higher. It always is. Be the good ones. Be the honest ones. Be the ones found on the right side when this is over and the true history is written. Do not become what you oppose. Do not let this cause be captured by hatred, by tribalism, or by the hunger for power and personal gain that corrupts every movement that forgets its founding purpose. The cause is life. The cause is liberty. The cause is the right of every human being on this land to live in peace in the home of their fathers, to worship freely, to vote freely, to build freely. That cause is worth everything. Bring the displaced home. End the killing. Break the darkness. Draw the boundaries of peace by consent, by the voice of the people, the only authority that matters. The long night is ending. Let us stand together, not in hatred or narrow tribalism, but in defense of life, liberty, and the right of every human being to live in peace in their ancestral lands, to worship freely, and to build a future of dignity. May the God of Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, Arodi, Areli, and Eri, who delivered Israel from Pharaoh, grant us wisdom, courage, restraint, and unity to deliver his people once again.
My people, share this video and drop your own opinion in comment section. The Biafra must be restored and Mazi Nnamdi will be free. Nigeria they didn't create Nigeria for you and I to enjoy. Nigeria was created to reap the country, to reap the people, and they end up bringing goats, lions, and all the whole animals that can't live in the same inhabitant. So this is why Nigeria is facing everything it's facing today. The only solution is to divide the country. I've said this in so many times. Not by election, not by bringing people, not by bringing a cent. That person will not succeed because the people in the country have already divided. So tell me how you will be divided, you can be able to achieve anything. It's not possible. Guys, share and drop your own opinion.